Okay, setting a proper motivation with 3 points. Refuge filled. Visualize all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, particularly the Buddha Shakyamuni, Holiness, the Dalai Lama, and the space in front of us as so loving, caring, embracing. And visualize the bodies of the field, your two grandparents, all your family members, your children, and all dear mothers and human beings living on the side. And here you are like a mother, and all others are like children. And you are there to give full love, attention, affection, and embrace. And the purpose of this practice is to awaken this Buddha nature within us. When gold mixes with the soil, although the nature of the gold is to glow, but it doesn't glow. And ordinary people will think that there's no gold there. It's just ordinary mud. But the gold experts will see that there's gold there, and they will prove to us that there is a gold there by removing the metal defilements or removing the mud. Likewise, by removing the metal defilements, the gold inside us, the Buddha nature within us will become manifest. And how do you do that? For that we need to know the mental defilements, the nature of the mental defilements. One, the gross one referred to as afflictive obscurations, and the presence of this blocks us from attaining fearlessness, or blocks us from attaining freedom from all fear, freedom from all miseries. And this is considered 3 kinds: contaminant karmas, afflictions, and the active seeds of these 2. And the other one, the subtle one, referred to as the cognitive obscurations, the presence of which block us from attaining full enlightenment of Buddhahood, the infinite happiness. And how to get rid of these is by resorting to a very powerful remedy. What is the remedy? The ultimate remedy of the liberating path is the wisdom of emptiness. And this must be supported by bodhicitta, which in turn must be grounded on renunciation. And the whole purpose of this is to resort to this wisdom of emptiness by complementing this with a very powerful mind of bodhicitta and renunciation. So with this aspiration, imagine that you are leading this recitation practice and all beings are joining you. With that in mind, page 3. And tears with great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And tears with great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And tears with great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations or the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations or the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanje joda zoge jonam la chanju bardo dane gyakso che tage jinso kebe sonamgi tola benjire sanje rubare sho sanje joda zoge jonam chanju bardo dane gyakso che tage jinso kebe sonamgi tola benjire sanje rubare sho Sanje joda zoge chonam la chanjo bardo dane gyapsuj tage jinso kebe sonam ge dola benjere sanje drubare sho. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace which is free of all aberrations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all need here is seeking pacification and complete peace, who through the knowledge of paths goes to help migrators achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of nations helps subduers expand a variety of teachings, the one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teachers who guide and protector to your administrations, the one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence I chant the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata, the cessation causes as well as taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite. Such is the next light Dharma I have discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching in silence, I will return to the woods. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. Is an object of apprehension and self-realized wisdom, to you, the mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times of the obeisance. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcendent sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is also everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the experience of billions of eons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the sustenance that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to chant the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gone. If attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Page 14. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the four destroyer, completely perfected, full awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, know the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you placed yourself in strides, then set them supreme in this world. To you, who were wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, formed supremely pure, wisdom motion like a Google mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. the Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, filled of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from the attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path of liberation, the holy feel qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly, this is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through this merits may sentient beings attain the rank of false seeing, subdue the four faults and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness and death. Heart Sutra. Heart Sutra, page 29. I prostrate to the Arya Triple Gem. Thus did I hear at one time. The Buddha was dwelling on the Master of Vultures mountain Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of profound professional wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound professional wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly, beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composition factors, and consciousness empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composition factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object to touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element and so on, up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in professional wisdom, the mind without obscuration and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifest a complete awakening, unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the professional wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, mantra equal to the unequal, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth since it is not false. The mantra of the professional wisdom is declared, Dhyatha Om Gade Gade Para Sam Gade Bodhi Swaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound professional wisdom like that. And the Buddha arose from their concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. Profound professional wisdom, just as you indicated, even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, those around in the entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised as spoken by the Buddha. Okay, as we recite this Heart Sutra mantra, imagine that that we are all there in Rajgir, the place where the Buddha taught the Heart Sutra, and that you are surrounded by your two parents, your children, your family members, all dear Mother Sentient beings living outside. And they imagine the Buddha is exhorting us, don't remain in fears of samsara, come to the ultimate awakening where your true nature is awakened and you're free from all fears of life, and that your happiness is expansive. And you hearing this melodious voice of Buddha Shakyamuni, you inform this to your true parents, your children, all Dhamma sentient beings, that this water compassion, the teacher Buddha Shakyamuni is exhorting us. Let us not remain in fears of anymore, fears of samsara anymore. Let us all go alone towards enlightenment. And everybody hearing this, they are so inspired to join you in this journey of cleansing the mind. Deota Om Gade Gade Paragade Parasamgade Bodhi Swaha Tyatha Om Gade Gade Paragade Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha Tyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha Tyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha. By the teachings of the three supreme jewels possessing power of the truth, may inner and outer hindrances be transformed, may they be dispelled, may they be non-existent, may they be pacified, may all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified, may the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified, may we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma, may all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma, may auspicious and perfect happiness pervade this place now. Okay, let us read the three principal aspects of the path. Where is it? $78. Thank you. Did you find it? It is on 77. In mine is 77, yours on 78. Okay, some 78, some 77, 78. Okay. Whose book is this? CJ? Huh? Jean. Is it the book? This book? If the Divya, these texts are so precious and you read it, on page 77 or page 78. So everyone has the book with you. Three principles of the path. This is extremely succinct, only 14 verses, and yet the meanings are so well presented there. And this is how we do cognitive transformation by analytical analysis, the analytical meditation. Okay, and again, I'm reminding you that the three principal aspects of the path, we see that comprehensive path means refuge, renunciation, bodhicitta, and the wisdom of emptiness. And when we say wisdom of emptiness, this is the union of this single shamatha and the vipassana, or the shamatha and the special insight. So here the shamatha meaning this single pointed power, single-pointedness of the mind. So single-pointedness is included. Then the wisdom is both included there in the third one, which is wisdom of emptiness. So in other words, 4 condensed into 3. So if this is where you do any practice, if your practice, daily practice, is somehow these 3 things are intact, you are okay. You are actually going towards the enlightenment. Where any of these 3 things are missing, then what are you doing is just a very partial thing. But whereas as I said earlier, if what you seek is just like, well, I just want a peace of mind. I'm fed up with my life. I want peace of mind. Then you can do any kind of calm meditation, or just sit there, close eyes, and do nothing. Or your agitation will subside. Whereas somebody wants to simply activate the cognitive thought processes, then you study emptiness. That will greatly activate your cognitive thought process. Fine, your cognitive aspect of the mind is activated. Your job is done. If you're not interested to become Buddha or to experience infinite happiness or fearlessness, then your job is done. Whereas you feel that, okay, in my family there's so much chaos there. I want family to be at ease. What about infinite happiness? I don't know about these things. I want peace in my family. Then learn how to spread love and affection. Do this, that's good enough. Whereas if you seek fearlessness, infinite happiness, a long-term benefit, then the point is that we need to have these three principal aspects. It should be a very comprehensive path. Okay. And for this, each of the 3 principal paths, they were taught here by 3 points. One is, for example, related to renunciation, 3 points. Why to cultivate renunciation? Then, how to cultivate renunciation? Then, the measure of having cultivated renunciation. What is the mark of having cultivated renunciation? So these are 3 points. That was bodhicitta. For the bodhicitta, say what is taught earlier, and which you can easily extend to the bodhicitta wisdom of emptiness. So these are not repeated by Lama Tsongkhapa. This is Lama Tsongkhapa's style. What is easy, which you can easily bring them or extend to others, he will never repeat. Whereas which requires repetition, without which people can be confused, he makes sure that it is repeated. This is Lama Tsongkhapa's the compassion and the skills. Okay, so the likewise for the bodhicitta and the wisdom emptiness. For the wisdom emptiness, what are the 2 points? What are the 3 points by which the wisdom emptiness is taught? 1. No, 3 points with which the renunciation is taught. We already discussed. Why? Or why do we have to cultivate the wisdom of emptiness? Why? If that is missing, what's the problem? Already indicated there. So, without which you will not be free from samsara. All these things will be indicated there. Then next, how to cultivate it. The detailed explanation of wisdom will be, particularly the nuances will be touched here. Then, the measure of having cultivated the wisdom of emptiness. Okay, let's read this together. I bow down to the Venerable Lamas. As well as I am able, I will explain the essence of the teachings of the Buddhas, the path praised by the conqueror's children, the entrance for those who desire liberation. Listen with a clear mind, you fortunate ones, who are not attached to the joys of cyclic existence. Try to make good use of leisure and opportunity, and direct your minds to the path that pleases the Buddhas. Without pure renunciation, an end to the attraction for the pleasures of cyclic existence is unattainable. The craving for it is thus from the outset seek renunciation. Splendid cyclic existence and remain intent on liberation day and night. Renunciation is born in you then. However, renunciation, if not tempered by pure-minded bodhicitta, would not bring forth the perfect bliss of unsurpassed enlightenment. Therefore, the wise ones generate excellent-minded bodhicitta, swept up in the current of the four powerful rivers, tied by strong bonds of karma, caught in the iron net of self-grasping, completely enveloped by the darkness of ignorance, born in the limitless cyclic existence, ceaselessly tormented by the three miseries. Think of your mothers in this direction. Bodhicitta. Although you train in renunciation and the mind of bodhicitta, without wisdom that realizes the ultimate reality, you cannot cut the root of cyclic existence. Therefore, strive to understand the dependent arising. One sees the infallible cause and effect of all phenomena in samsara and nirvana, and destroys all focuses of apprehension, has entered the path which pleases the Buddhas. Appearances are infallible, dependent arising. Emptiness is understanding that is free of assertions. As long as these two are seen as distinct, you have not yet realized the intent of the Buddhas. When these two realizations are concurrent, where the mere sight of infallible dependent origination concurrently destroys all modes of grasping through definite discernment, at that time the analysis of the profound view is perfected. Furthermore, appearances refute the extreme of existence, emptiness refutes the extreme of non-existence. When you enter, you are not captivated by the view of extremes. O my child, once you have thus realized the points of the three principal paths, seek solitude and cultivate strong determination and quickly attain the aspired goal. Okay, mandal offering. Page, what I have is page 40. Chirula, which page? 40, everyone? Okay. This ground, anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with margmeru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this is a Buddha field and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. O Sajibya Mando Tam Sangye Shendo Me Devayen Togunam Da Shenlai Chumarai Sho. May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practices on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is free of flaws. May I be blessed that the flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. The four Dhammas of Venerable Bhikshu Mahasattva, becoming utterly frustrated with the ignorance that grasps the true existence. Please bless me to generate the jhana and renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind overflows with the precious bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality bliss and emptiness. Edam Guru Rana Mende Lagam Nirate Amen. Okay, next page 42. The next page, Foundation of All Good Qualities by Lama Tsongkhapa. This is the roadmap. Let's just see if your daily practice is constituted of these points indicated here. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this birth is found only once is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to gender the mind that unceasingly take in as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After that, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtues and non-virtues come and follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity and accomplishing all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teaching is keeping the Pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into a sea of samsara, so fall among migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, train in supreme bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop bodhicitta, but I don't practice the 3 types of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I pacify distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to the unified path of come abiding inspection inside. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me and holy gateway of the fortune ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing true attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledge like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the 2 stages, the essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, may quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. You are our Utteshvara, great treasure of non-referent compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, bestowed hosts of demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of endless snows, love Sankhtapa at your feet and make prostrations. On boy jambe yan hanje kebe zo ge zo kama lo sa cha de Shabla Sovande Lumezavade Chejaresim Tumekan Jambeyan Hanje keme tsoke tsokama dosa tabe shala sovande Jajaresim Tumekembe Wambo Jambeyan Kanje Kebe Tsoke Tsokaba Lo sa tabe shabla sovande. Okay, generating the amount of consummate yoga. For this, we do the 4 practices. Single point meditation. Okay, let us do 5 minutes breathing meditation. Ready? Okay. We'll now move to the renunciation. To cultivate or practice renunciation, we see that there's a whole genre of teachings in the different traditions, Sakya, Kaiku, Nyingma, even Theravada also, Chinese tradition. They all have their different, not really different, they're with the slight variations, they are much more the same and built upon the Buddha's own teachings on the 4 seals. So we're going to do the Buddhist reflection directly on the basis of the 4 seals, but to enrich these teachings, practices, you can bring from any sources, any to the authentic sources, the great masters, conversation with great masters. Okay, the 4 essentials, the 4 seals. The renunciation. Renunciation is to renounce, to give up our miseries, to renounce all the fears and all the miseries. To renounce that, we need wise people will look for the causes and renounce causes. And this is what the Buddha taught. Ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato hevatat. These phenomena arise from the causes, and the causes are identified by the Tathagata. So what are the causes? The causes, they boil down to contaminated karmas, afflictions, inappropriate tension, and self-grasping ignorance. And this self-grasping ignorance, when complemented, only when complemented by the self-centered attitude, then gross afflictions arise, contaminated karmas arise, and then the miseries. So finally boil down to ignorance as the main factor for all these miseries. And this ignorance, the Buddha taught the 4 layers of ignorance which overarch all the miseries. Viewing impermanent phenomena as permanent, viewing suffering natures of happiness, viewing impure things as pure, and viewing the selfless natures of self-hurt. So to get rid of these 4 misconceptions, or the 4 ignorances, the 4 seals are taught. The first seal, all composite things are impermanent. And this impermanence is of 2 kinds, gross impermanence and subtle impermanence. Gross impermanence is an impermanent phenomena whose continuum comes to an end. For example, our youth. Youth is followed by old age. Good health is followed by sickness. And birth is followed by death. And the people of 2,000 years ago, 200 years ago, today not even a single person is to be seen. this impermanence. Among those people were like, some of them are your age, some of them even younger than you, with so much of plans in their life. Their parents have so much expectation on the children. Whether the plans, expectations are fulfilled or not fulfilled, they're all gone. And one day, 100 years from now in the future, guaranteed that the people here for this retreat, and 150 years from now, guaranteed the 8 billion human beings, none is going to be seen then. And 99% of the people, even their memories disappear from this earth. This is impermanence. Yes, this helps us to bring back to the idea, to the reality, that one, we are of the nature of impermanence. Our death is for sure. And when the death will happen is not sure. Uncertainty of the time of death. Certainty of the death, but uncertainty of the time of death. It can come tomorrow. We never know. So this impermanence, where the continuum stops, where the Buddha taught, all accumulations end in exhaustion. All what stands falls. All what is accumulated is exhausted. All what is born it dies. This impermanence, underscoring all these impermanence, this gross impermanence, is the subtle impermanence, momentariness. So where a child who is a very tiny toddler grew to 5 feet tall, 10 feet, 6 feet tall, it happens not overnight. It happens for the 20 years. And the change that you see in the 20 years is possible only if there's a change happening every year. And this change is happening only if there's a change happening on the monthly basis, weekly basis, daily basis, hourly basis, minute by minute basis, second by second basis, millisecond by millisecond basis, when the composite things, they move so fast, they change so fast, which means my body is also changing that way. Yes, this also moves so fast, and my mind is also moving so fast. Yes, and all composite things, the world in which we live, the food that we eat, like the house in which we stay. Yes, all composite things move so fast. It's very scary though, that if you're, just imagine if you're thrown in a very fast moving train by somebody, what is your feeling? So much of fear. The faster the train moves, the more the fear. And why fear? We don't know where this train is taking us. Who decides where this train is taking us? The train driver. In case if the train driver is your mom and dad, lucky that will take you to a specific spot. But if the train driver is a terrorist or is under the sway of the terrorists, not it'll take us to the slaughterhouse. And in our case, who is the train driver like? It's a mind. Unfortunately, this mind is under the sway of the 2 demons, 2 terrorists, self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude. As long as our mind is under the sway of these 2 contaminations, contaminations or the terrorists, self-grasping, the self-centered attitude, it will only take us to sickness, aging, death, tension, dissatisfaction, and so forth. All the miseries. Yes, this is what the Buddha indicated as all contaminated things of suffering nature, suffering as sickness, aging, death, and so forth. In fact, one moment of such a tragedy of sickness and illness and the pain of the lost near and dear ones is good enough to nullify all the past moments of the merriments, festivities, parties, and so forth. That's very true. Whole life becomes so hollow, meaningless, and gloomy. Yes, this is the product of the contaminations, product of the self-grasping, self-centered attitude. That's true. It's so exhausting. When will this stop? 2021 stopped on its own. When will these miseries stop? Yes, it'll never stop impermanent phenomena is of three kinds, where whose continuum stops invariably, like 2021, and whose continuums never stop, like our mind, the time, the self, and so forth. And the third category, whose continuum, only if you put effort, will come to an end. Otherwise, it will never stop in its own. That is our miseries, self-grasping ignorance, the self-centered attitude. Okay, how to bring an end to these? Only by introducing a very powerful counter force. What kind of counter force? To eradicate these miseries, we should learn how to eradicate the cause of the miseries. And the cause of miseries Buddha identified as a self-grasping ignorance. And self-grasping ignorance is like darkness. In dark, you don't see what is around you. Self-grasping does not allow you to see the reality of the selflessness. So, to eradicate this, it is only through introducing the light of the wisdom to see that nothing exists objectively. Okay, so let's quickly meditate on this, which the Buddha indicated as everything is in nature, emptiness, selflessness. Okay, today we'll meditate on the emptiness of the flower. So the object, an object which gives you such a joy, excitement, and in some cases greed, craving, and attachment. Okay, let's to put it very simply, that today we'll do a flower. Just imagine a very beautiful flower in front of you. How does flower appear to you? Like a dream projected by your mind, or as so independent of a mind, it exists so objectified, so solidified there. Of course, so solidified there. This belief that this flower exists objectively, so solidified that this is self-grasping ignorance. How do you know that this is self-grasping ignorance? How do you know that this is not a valid mind? Okay, if this flower does exist objectively, then remember what Nagarjuna said. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? Likewise, if this flower would exist objectively, why don't I see this flower as I go closer to this object? Okay, let us now go closer to this object to see if it does exist the way it appears so objectified. This mind which goes closer to this object is known as the ultimate analysis. Subjecting this flower to ultimate analysis, let us see what is there. We first initially see the individual cells. Okay, first through the very powerful electron microscope, we see that the tenderness of the petals of the flower, and they seem very rough. No more tenderness. Through further fine-tuning, we see that they are like very rough and like hairy. Through further fine-tuning it, we see that they are the cracks. The tenderness simply disappears in the thin sky, and the cracks appear. What are these cracks? Through further fine-tuning the electron microscope, you see that these cracks are nothing but the cell and the cell membrane, the divisions of the cells. And through further fine-tuning, we see the nucleus at the center, cell membrane at the periphery, in between the cytoplasm. Then inside the nucleus, we see the chromosomes. And the chromosomes, they are very scary to look at. Brownish, striped snake structure like. Repulsion comes in the mind. Okay, so here you can ask, where's this flower? The flower is nowhere to be seen. You can just stop there and you can just pick up the isolation of the emptiness of the flower. But we can go further, that will help us. Through further fine-tuning this, even the electron, even this And the chromosomes in the form of the brownish striped snake structural chromosomes, they are nothing but the DNA molecules. And the molecules are nothing but the atoms. Which are now we come to the point of just seeing atoms. Atoms are not beautiful, atoms are not the undesirable. They are very neutral. And the feeling also becomes very neutral. Okay. Now, see what are you seeing now? I'm just seeing these atoms, pool of atoms. And which of the atom is the flower? None of the atom is the flower. None of the atom is to be identified as intrinsically one with the flower. In other words, none of the atom is seen as a flower in the eyes of the ultimate analysis. Okay, if these atoms are not identified as intrinsically one with the flower, then see if the flower exists as different from these atoms, the parts. Remove the atoms, nothing is left there. Okay, where is the flower from the object now? Nowhere to be seen, not atoms, no different from the atoms, to be identified as intrinsically one or intrinsically different from the atoms as a flower. You just get a feeling of vacuum, feeling of the flower disappearing, nowhere to be seen. Stay in this experience. And this is what you're discovering. You're not inventing. If you invent it, this is not the real experience of emptiness. This is what you're discovering. Yes, this is a very profound experience. In some cases, there's a tinge of a fear coming. In some cases, there's a tickling sensation in the body, cold waves flowing, and very tranquil experience comes to the core of your heart. Should any of these experiences comes to you, you're very fortunate. Even if it doesn't come, it doesn't matter. It's simply the indication that yes, you can reach there, provided you go through these extensive studies, extensive reflection, and extensive meditation. Okay. So that's a profound experience, but what's the benefit of this? Yes, just as this flower disappears into the emptiness, likewise you subject all your sorrows, all your miseries to this analysis. Likewise, they will disappear, and extremely healing upliftment will arise within you, which is the transcendence of sorrow. When the sorrow transcends in the experience of emptiness, where you feel absolute peace there. Stay in this experience for a while. And the aspiration to experience this emptiness, or the aspiration to experience this absolute peace in the experience of emptiness, this aspiration is known as renunciation. Stay in this experience of renunciation for a while. Okay, slowly come out of this practice to move to the next, the bodhicitta. Come out. Okay, don't fall asleep. But you're good. Okay, ready? For the bodhicitta, yesterday we discussed that the two methods are required. What are the two methods? Vijnana bodhicitta. Sevenfold cause-effect method Vijnana bodhicitta, and the method of equalizing and exchanging self for others, the 9-step method for equalizing and exchanging self for others. These are two things that we have to employ, and for this we have to study. Not just identify these points, but we have to study them and then put them into practice. Sometimes it can be very demoralizing that you follow the steps, but nothing is coming to your mind. And this is how we have to proceed through. If you really get stuck there for a little long, then you must discuss with your teachers. This is very important. And this is how we have to, we have to make sure that there's something's happening, some transformation taking place. Okay, but in group, the unsantal is bodhicitta, retreat. We then do more of the four immeasurables. Okay, ready? immeasurables. Okay, immeasurable loving kindness. Just try to follow the instructions and see if you can invoke the respective experiences. It can be superficial, it doesn't matter. This is the meaning of the practice. Immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. May all my dear mother sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing that we make such a courageous commitment like a mother after all these many years of raising her children. And today, the eldest daughter, just aged 12, and the eldest son, just aged 11, or the other way around. Two of them come to the mother of 10, telling the mother, please take rest. We already grown up. You have done everything for us. We already grown up. We'll take care of our siblings. Mother, please take rest. The mother could not believe her eyes in years. Incredibly happy and joyous. This is exactly what is happening to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. Seeing that you are taking such a responsibility. This joy and the pride of the Buddhist Bodhisattvas feel invoke the compassion of niche minds to send for nectars very sweeping lights towards you and all dear mother sentient beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the bodies and beings yours instills in all happiness and the cause of happiness in the minds of sentient beings in yourself. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening towards all the dear sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. Causes of suffering primarily consist of self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude. May all my dear mother sentient beings be freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment, they intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassion of niche minds to send for nectars and very soothing lights towards you and all dear mother sentient beings. Mere touch of lights and nectars with the bodies of beings yours, washes away all the miseries and the cause of miseries. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to us all the dear sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Next, immeasurable joy. How good would it be that all dear sentient beings are never separated from the happiness and the cause of happiness that they're endowed with. May all my dear sentient beings be never separated from happiness and the cause of happiness that they're endowed with. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they're endowed with. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment, they intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke the compassion of omniscient minds to send forth nectars of soothing lights towards you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the bodies of beings yours, stabilizes the happiness that being sent out with. And you're witnessing such a miracle is happening towards all of them as sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sign of relief. Next, immeasurable equanimity. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment to some and aversion to others, and instead abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other dear sentient beings equally, leaving none aside. May all my dear sentient beings be freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment to some and aversion to others, and instead stay in abiding experience of the great equanimity. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment to some and aversion towards others, and making them abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other dear sentient beings equally, leaving none aside. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing that you are making such a courageous commitment, they are intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassionate omniscient minds to ascend from the nectars of soothing light towards you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of light and nectars with the bodies brings you yours. Frees the beings from the biased attitude of excessive attachment to some and aversion towards others, and instead making them abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other dear sentient beings equally, leaving them aside. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening towards all the different sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sign of relief. Okay, thus, underscoring all the 4 immeasurables is the unconditional love towards all different sentient beings. Stay in this experience for a while. Okay, with folded hands, we'll make the commitment of the bodhicitta, the most beautiful mind of bodhicitta, 3 times. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. Abide in this most beautiful mind of bodhicitta for a while. Slowly transform this beautiful mind of bodhicitta into a spotlessly clean moon disk, horizontal sitting with the heart. Okay, you can see the moon Vajra in this book, picture of the moon Vajra in this book. Can you see that? Okay, it's on page 49. Those who don't know what is Vajra, just look at this page 49. Do you see that? Vajra moon. The moon is at the base, and the vertically standing is the Vajra. Good? Okay, good. So with this, this bodhicitta that we visualize now, slowly transform this into a spotless, clean moon disk. The way depicted in the picture, moon disk your heart. Okay, it's amazing that you made such a courageous commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. But no matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil come out of that. And how do you know that you can become a Buddha? Yes, that's very true. I'm not like a handful of sand. I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds, squeezing which Buddhahood will come out. I can become Buddha. I have the Buddha nature within me. The seed of perfection is within me. But how come that you never become Buddha till since time immemorial till now? That's very true. It's all because that I'm being deceived by the two demons, self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude. Today I'm disillusioned by this. I'm going to exterminate these two demons at any cost. How will you do that? But it's a very powerful remedy. What is that? The wisdom of emptiness. Let us quickly retrieve the experience of emptiness which we generated before. Okay, this flower. What is it? What is it? I'm missing the flower. How does it appear to exist? So objectively there. This is a grasping ignorance. Now, subjecting this flower to ultimate analysis, we see just a pool of atoms. From the individual, from the tenderness disappearing to the rough surface, to the cracks, to the cell membranes, to the cytoplasm, to the nucleus, to the chromosomes, to the DNA molecules, to the atoms. Okay, now I'm seeing just a pool of atoms in the eyes of the ultimate analysis. Where's this flower? It's nowhere to be seen. Is empty of being intrinsically one with its parts, the atoms, and empty of being intrinsically different from its parts, nowhere to be seen there as objective existence flower. Same this experience. Okay, slowly transform this wisdom of emptiness into a spotless, clean white vajra, thumb size white vajra, vertically sitting in the heart, vertically sitting on the moon disk at the heart. Okay, this is amazing that you have the seventh Vajra moon. The moon symbolizing the conventional bodhicitta to exterminate all the self-grasping, the self-centered attitude, and the Vajra symbolizing the ultimate remedy, which is the Arya Bodhisattvas, the wisdom of emptiness, the direct realization of the emptiness. And this is the remedy to overcome all the mental defilements, afflictive as well as karmic obscurations. That's amazing. This guarantees that you are going to become fully enlightened, that you are going to be freed from all miseries, the fears, and that you're going to experience the infinite happiness by awakening the seed of the Buddha and within you fully. Yes, that's true. This is amazing. I'm so fortunate. But what about my two parents, children, and all my dear sentient beings? That's true. With so much of compassion, this great compassion that you feel towards all the dear sentient beings, invoke the Vajramuni to heart to multiply infinite number of times. Share one set of Vajramuni at the heart of your mother, and one set at the heart of your father, one set with each one of your children, each one of the sentient beings here in Deer Park, at the heart of each of the staff here in Deer Park, or the people in the people here in Beer, people in India, in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, in the entire universe, everyone in the ocean, everyone in the forest, all the sentient beings have got their share of the Vajraman from you. I'm so glad. Meanwhile, let us not forget that Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they are watching us. Why not we invite Buddhist Bodhisattvas to be the guests, as well as witness to undertaking the ceremony of taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. As a gesture of making request to the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, along with all the among sentient beings, let us slowly stand up to make 3 prostrations to all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. you. On your right knees, if you can do that. Page 50. As we explained the meanings of these verses yesterday, let us recite these verses with the meanings well reflected in our mind, and just feel that. Try to feel that. So with this mind, imagine all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they're watching us. As we requested, they're watching us. Imagine that you as a 5 years old girl or 5 years old boy, imagine that you are, for the first time in your life, you are performing, you are making a public appearance on behalf of your school, and this is the first time, and your parents, they left behind all their works to come to join in the audience, to waving their hands to tell you that we are here, we are so proud of you. This is exactly what is happening to all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. They're so proud of what you're doing today, taking the responsibility of the removing the miseries of all the demon sentient beings and take them to ultimate state of happiness. So with this mind, imagine that all demon sentient beings joining you, and you are leading this. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwelled in the Buddhas of the predecessors, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I do successfully follow the Buddhas of the predecessors. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Buddhas of the predecessors, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I do successfully follow the Buddhas of the predecessors. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Buddhas of the predecessors, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I do successfully follow the Buddhas of the predecessors. Just feel the joy of having received the Ashman Bodhisattva vow. You are very fortunate. The commitment that we have is that from today onwards, I'll try my best not to harm others, and possible always to help others to the maximum I can. Just feel the joy, and this is so auspicious. And of course, it rained. It's so auspicious, and you've generated this bodhicitta. And the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they're so proud of you. Like after all these immeasurable lifetimes, innumerable lifetimes, that we have been only engaged in the negativities, which made the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas feel so sad. And today, that you did something so good, that Buddhas and Bodhisattvas feel so proud of you. And because of this tremendous joy, incredible happiness, the joy the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas feel over what you have done today, this joy and happiness invoke the Vajramuni, their hearts, to multiply infinite number of times. And like rain shower, they descend to merge with the Bandhavi, which lies to the heart, thereby become non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. Likewise, those innumerable, infinite number of the replicas of the Vajramuni from the hearts of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they descend like rain shower. They descend to merge with the Bandhavi, which lies the heart of your mother and the heart of your father, each one of your children, each one of sentient beings. Now, everyone, Vajramuni, at the house of everyone is being blessed, become non-dual, and stabilized by the blessings of the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. This is the greatest gift that you offer to parents, your children, and all different sentient beings. And this is today what you have gifted them with. And this is the best offerings that we can think of. The Buddha said that better than making the offering to all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas of the whole universe filled with gems is to generate a single moment of compassion. And today, not only compassion, but the heightened state of compassion, bodhicitta, is what we've generated. This is the greatest gift, that is the greatest offering that we're making to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and today you made it. And in our life, we see that, however, to whatever age and is yours, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever. So all these many years, what have we done? And today what we did, this is the greatest meaning. And this is the ultimate, the seed which can make you grow into the light of happiness and the fearlessness. And this is the greatest meaning of life. And today you extracted this meaning, you've given this meaning to your life. It's amazing. It's all happening because of the kindness of all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thanking them, again, along with all the other sentient beings, let us slowly start to make two frustrations to all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. Okay, page 51, the next page. For us to be connected with these two teachings, practices, Bodhicitta, wisdom, and emptiness in the next lives, in the future lives, we recite this verse together. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassion of Buddha and be able to uphold the two precious bodhicittas even in the course of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided with the compassion of Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even in the course of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided with the compassion of Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even in the course of my life. In order to further increase this bodhicitta from now on, those with discernment who have loosely seized an awakened mind of bodhicitta in this way should highly praise in the following manner. Today my life has borne fruit. Having well obtained this human existence, I've been born in the family of the Buddha, and now I'm one of Buddha's children. Thus, whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall I disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind person discovering a jewel in heap of rubbish, likewise by some coincidence an awakened mind has been born within me. It is the supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereign death. It is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world. It is a supreme medicine that quells the world's disease. It is a tree that shelters all beings wandering tired on the path of conditioned existence. It is a universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth. It is the dawning moon of the mind that expels the torment of disturbing conceptions. It is the great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world. It is a quintessential butter from the channel of the middle of the Dharma. For all those guests traveling on the path of conditioned existence, who wish to experience the boundless happiness, this will set aside them joy and actually place them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, and for the world to be guests at a festival of temporary and ultimate delight, may gods, demigods, and all be joyful. Okay, dedication. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization that is in the prayers of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas for 3 times, and to the upholding of the doctrine of scripture and insight. May I in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path of renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect within the 2 stages. From my true collections, vast space that I've amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom has blinded by ignorance. Deatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisvatya Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata